Finally, around right after Busted is when it really seeped in. And I said, you really are serious now. Like, you're not going back anymore. You're done with it. Like, you really don't like Dominic anymore. Okay, man, fine. Don't you know anyone else? Actually, I did know someone. Every time I had seen Tony Burnham at one of Ralphie's parties, he would be on and on about Corey Haim, about how good-looking Haim was, and how much he wanted to meet him. At that moment, I wasn't thinking about the fact that Tony was an adult and Haim was a minor. I was thinking that I would do just about anything to get Haim to shut up and to stop him from hitting on me. Okay, man, who is this guy, man? Haim asked. His name is Tony. He's, like, older and he's kind of fat. I mean, he's really not even attractive at all. Have him come over. Are you serious? Haim raised an eyebrow and gave me a frustrated nod. Look, man, I don't feel comfortable with this. Why can't you just go out and, like, get yourself laid like everybody else? Just call him up, man. Just please do me a favor and call him. Whatever happened between Tony and Haim that day, I cannot tell you. They went off to the laundry room in my father's building. Next thing you know, Tony was always at Haim's side, driving Haim around town, hanging out with Haim's mother, passing himself off as a friendly big brother type. Looking back, I think Tony must have thought of Haim as a boyfriend. I think he believed they were having a real relationship. I didn't understand what was going on, or what he was doing, or what it would eventually do to Corey Haim. I just thought that if Haim seemed to be okay with it, I should learn to be okay with it too.
No, but hold on. Okay, so it's a molester, but we're not... Haim was, more than likely, this is a consensual thing with Dominic.
It was consensual, but he was still a child.
Right, and Dominic is like 35.
Right.
And Dominic is like 35.
Right. You're serious now. Like, you're not going back anymore. You're done with it. Like, you really don't like Dominic anymore. And he's like, man, you know, it hurts me that you're still friends with him. It hurts me that you're still hanging out with him. And that's when I told Dominic he had to get out.
There you go.
And I moved. I moved in 95. I got my own apartment. I kicked out Dominic, and I moved. I moved in 95. I got my own apartment. I kicked out Dominic, and that was the last time I ever hung out with him.
Soon after moving in with his father, Corey met actor Dominic Brascia, who could not believe the living conditions of his new friend.
And he was living like in a slum. I mean, this was a terrible apartment. He wouldn't stop doing the coke. You'd sit there and go, Corey, you have a problem here. You're doing cocaine. And he's like, no, I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem.
I moved in 95. That was the last time I ever hung out with him.
Take your hand off my ass. And I said, no, that's not my hand. And she said, that's okay, it's not my ass. Funny, huh? All right, thank you very much for your favorite applause. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I have to go. I know you're very sad. My name is Robbie. You'll see me around, I'm sure. But the next guy, I know you've seen him already. You may have seen him.
95, and that was the last time I ever hung out with him.
I've got Corey Feldman here. Woo! The song is the title track of the forthcoming album, which will be released in your stores August 6th. Please go pick it up.
What label? What label?
Former child actor.
Former child actor. I didn't hear a label mentioned. Okay, here we go. Former child actor, Corey Feldman and his band.
I just gotta drink your pee.
95.
You let me get around in my life, man, raped, so to speak, when I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now, by the guy you used to hang out with, and tell me I'm 14, take responsibility. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What'd you do, man, when you saw that going down when I was 14 to me? What'd you do? You knew about it, besides being his best friend. What'd you do? What'd you do? All is what you did, man.
It hurts me that you're still friends with him. It hurts me that you're still hanging out with him. And that's when I told Dominic he had to get out. 95. And that was the last time I ever hung out with him.
There are lawyers who would handle a case where a child had been molested pro bono.
I would love to see it.
Which means free.
Hey, people are watching right now.
And
they're welcome to offer their support.
Truth is an absolute defense to any defamation case, and every victim needs to know this. Truth is an absolute defense to any defamation case, which means if you are telling the truth, you have nothing to worry about. Now, there's always a small risk that you might not be believed.
There's the truth and the truth.
I've told these names to the police. I've told the names to investigative reporters. Nobody's ever put it out there. They cover it up, they protect it. In fact, I know of a friend of mine that actually went and spoke to a reporter and gave all the information, and they were, the day before I launched my campaign, they were supposed to put out a story in the Inquirer, and they came to me for a comment, and I said, no comment. Let them tell their story.
But if
I
you,
don't care. I moved in 95, and that was the last time I ever hung out with him. In fact, I know of a friend of mine,
The guy you used to hang out with,
went and spoke to a reporter and gave all the information, and they were, the day before I launched my campaign, they were supposed to put out a story in the Inquirer, and they came to me for a comment, and I said, no comment. Let them tell their story.
Shit, I've personally heard a story about Charlie and Corey Haim, probably, I don't know, at least a dozen people probably in my inner circle knew, for sure. It was pretty much common knowledge. I mean, everybody, it was kind of unspoken. I mean, Dominic always talked about it because he was obsessed with it. But everybody seemed to be under the impression that Charlie Sheen was diddling him on the set of Lucas.
If Feldman had not told me that that's what he'd been told for years, I would have probably not believed it. But to have the same story over and over and over again...
Dominic always talked about it.
You kind of go, really?
Truth is an absolute defense. Truth is an absolute defense. Truth...
Listen, he's hiding behind my son, and that is a really good reason for him not to ever talk about Dominic or what happened, what my son told him on the two Corys, because you know what? I have never once, not once did I ever hear Feldman mention Dominic's name, not once.